To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
It is Kingdom Report Live time. Happy Saturday, everybody. Wade Heath coming to you from the Warner Brothers Studios Media District here in beautiful Burbank, California, where we've got some happiness to connect you to. That's what Kingdom Report Live does, and hopefully you are enjoying yourself a great weekend and ready to be connected to all the happiness from coast to coast, Disneyland here in California to Walt Disney World out in Orlando. But before we get too far, we got to remember that there are some folks here we need to introduce. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, from AttractionPaction.net, Tyler Crouch.
Hello, everyone. Wow, did it out of order this time. Yes. Thank you.
Our stadium show. we forgot to tell you we're taking it on tour. We're at the Coliseum here in Los Angeles.
That's right.
Just off camera are the tens of thousands of screaming Kingdomites.
It is wonderful to see all 80,000 of you out here.
It's a big deal for us. First time on the road.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
And also from AttractionPaction.net, Katrina Manzoni.
Hi, everybody. Ooh. That was like magical.
No one more magical than Katrina. And speaking of magic, producer Kirk Carlson. Good day, sir.
Why, hello, thank you.
Oh,
I didn't give myself any sound effects.
No, you don't deserve it.
I don't feel like I deserve sound effects.
Not at all.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
No. I'll make a sound effect for you.
All right, I appreciate that.
Elephant.
That's exactly what I wanted.
You are
You just gave away our location. We're on the Jungle Cruise.
my favorite pachyderm. I call him Kurt. And then, of course, out in Walt Disney World, our Walt Disney World reporter, Mr. Garrett Hassel, with
Look at
Garrett
this
on
guy.
the go.
Hi guys.
Look at
Yeah.
Wow.
So
He's really good at
hey,
hula
you guys
hooping.
I try to be.
Ab workout.
All right. Hi folks, how's it going? Garrett here live at Walt Disney World in front of. Oh, Garrett on the go. Sign time. Whee!
Check you out. Garrett on the go, our Walt Disney World reporter for us hanging out at Disney's Hollywood Studios today. Garrett, what's going on? I mean, it looks like there's something new behind you.
Yeah. So I'm here at Disney Hollywood Studios, as you said, and behind me is the brand new marquee sign for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Wow.
That thing looks great.
It truly does. And so this was put in a few nights ago with the help of Goofy. If you haven't seen the video, go on Disney World website, because there's a whole episode of how Goofy was helping the Imagineers turn this thing on. And let me just say, this looks incredible. It's going to look even better at night because while it may not look all that spectacular right now, at night there are neon signs on there that really light up and bring this thing to life. And it's big. That thing is easily 10 feet tall, 15 feet tall. It's bigger than me. But because like this whole area has been popular, they have been adding hula hoops out here, and I've been, getting my hula hoop on. Last time I was here, I was jumping a bunch, but now I'm going to be hopping, just going to be talking about all the Disney news and stuff. But that's what's going on here at Disney's Hollywood Studios. This sign has definitely brought a whole brand new part of life to here. And one thing I want to add to this whole area is that the Star Wars Galaxy Far, Far Away show that they do in front of the Chinese Theater, that is soon going to be departing around the same time this attraction opens up. I think it's because they want this to truly be the icon of the park. Instead of when you go down Hollywood Boulevard, you see Star Wars characters. They want it to be all about the boss, Mickey, and his girl, Minnie.
It's about time. I'm thankful to hear that the Chinese theater is going to be the rightful icon of the park again, and we'll finally sort of stand there at the end, much like Cinderella Castle does to Magic Kingdom.
Pretty much. I'm
Yeah.
excited for it to be back, and I'm kind of happy to see Star Wars go away.
Yeah, I know.
It was just like one of those like things that they just needed to keep people occupied, you know. But
yeah.
I'm really excited that they're gonna clear it out and they're actually gonna, you know, make that the main thing, the main
Yeah.
attraction, which it should be, obviously.
Yeah. No more dumb hats in the way either.
Right, that sorcerer hat that
Yeah.
stood there for so many years as the icon built in
Exactly.
front of it, which always made me think, why?
Yeah.
It was really a silly mistake that they made, and looking back on it now, I think they realize, the
Yeah.
Chinese theater is the icon. Like, let's
Absolutely.
be real. And you know, it's even gotten to the point where I feel like they've been so confused about their icon that they've even used like Tower of Terror for a while too.
Right.
So it's interesting. We'll see. I'm curious to see if like mugs and things are going to start having the Chinese theater on them again. So
It'll be wonderful to have that original icon back. And Garrett, I'm sure there's plenty of other things happening in Walt Disney World as you
Yeah.
hula around the world. What's else is happening?
All right, so over at Magic Kingdom, is this distracting at all? Because this
Not
is
at
a
all.
good ad workout for me.
I mean,
I'm
if
trying
you
to get
can
back
do it
into
and talk at
Gaston
the same
State.
time,
I'm actually amazed, to be honest with you,
I know.
that this is happening, because I could hula hoop for about 10 seconds maybe, and it'll.
See, well, Tyler, you come out here and hang out with me. I will teach you how to hula hoop.
Okay.
Absolutely. But so over at Magic Kingdom, they now have a thing called Create Your. Oh boy, okay, that distracted me too much. It's called Create Your Moment Photo Experience. I'm sorry, I completely botched on the name. But so what this is, it's a paid service that Disney PhotoPass is offering, where you go to Magic Kingdom and you pay $50 and you get to meet with a PhotoPass photographer, and they take you to one of many different locations that you can essentially have your own photo shoot with. And it's a private photo shoot where, and rather than it just being 3 quick shots, it's actually, you get a full-on photo shoot for 20 minutes. So $50 for 20 minutes. And in that 20 minutes, you meet with your photographer. They say, hey, you have these different spots that you can take a photo with, and you're only allowed to use one of them. So say there are 5 spots, you have to choose 1 in 5 to take a photo with. But say you wanted to have a second spot, $50 more. And you do back-to-back, so it's a 40-minute long session. But looking at the images that Disney has put up on their website, they look really spectacular. It's not the normal PhotoPass shot that's just simple and easy. This is one that definitely has, like, it blurs the background. It has all the different photography lingo that I do not know. Aperture, zoom,
very good.
wide, close, flashing. But the photos, they look good. For myself, I probably will not do that, but I think this is really geared towards the people that want to do a like engagement or proposals, or maybe it's like baby's first Disney trip, because one of the images was like a man getting down on his knee. I'm just wondering, how does someone pull this off where you're like, hey honey, we're gonna do a photo shoot, no particular reason, we're just gonna do a photo shoot, and then boom, drop.
Oh,
Careful.
my
Drop
goodness.
down.
Jeez.
Children are in the way of the shot. No, but I think it's a really cool thing that's gonna have I think some popularity to it. I'm wondering how it's gonna go truly, but $50 for a 20-minute photo shoot, that's actually a pretty good deal, because I believe that includes editing of the photos as well. Because you go to a professional photographer and you fly them out to Disney World, that's already $107 to get them into the park. Then $100+ for a 30-minute shoot, plus $100+ for editing. So Disney's kind of giving you a good deal on this one. So that is something that is really exciting. So Wade, when you come out here, can we do a photo shoot together, please?
Aww.
As long as I can wear an Argyle sweater that matches your Argyle sweater, and you can hold me wraparound style, and we can both be looking longingly at the castle. Is that good for
Okay.
you?
Yeah.
Can
Hold a
I
rose,
have an
please.
Argyle turtleneck and wear a chain on the outside with a fanny pack?
Like The Rock?
Yes.
Very nice. I caught your
Yes.
reference. Thank you for that. Tyler, Katrina, is this something you guys would do?
I don't know. I feel like we get like our free photo pass like on our phone, and then they have those really cool shots now where you can stand in the castle and then it does like that zoom shot.
Yeah.
And like that's really fun. And then we honestly like don't really take that many pictures. So like we'll like maybe go like all like I'm more of the one that's like drags him along and like is like, oh, let's get a picture in front of the castle, and then we'll get like, you know, a couple shots here and there, and then it's fine. Or we have friends that take pictures. But I think this is actually really nice for like families that are trying to like, you know, wrangle in their children instead of like waiting in line and like having that time wasted. You can have 20 minutes to get really amazing shots.
Yeah.
Or you can get like a lot of the Instagrammers, they have been using the PhotoPass people a lot, and then they want them to like kind of go along and take pictures while they do stuff. And so I think they're maybe trying to like get the Instagrammer people to like pay the $50 and get like all these shots for 20 minutes and then have them use it. Because I've seen it a lot at Disneyland where a lot of people are actually using the PhotoPass people, and then the PhotoPass people, like, they're fine with it because they want to get the good shots too. So they'll follow them along, and these like Instagrammers have the like particular people know they know they're the working, and so they'll just follow them along and take these like really awesome shots. And so I think that it's like a great deal, but like I don't think we would do it. I don't know, would you?
I think we could maybe for like a special occasion or something if we
Sure.
had something that we wanted to remember, but
Remembering things is always
Yeah.
good.
Remembering, yeah.
yeah, you know. But I don't see us doing this really, but I also think it's incredible. I think it's a really good deal, actually. I mean, you could pay I feel like most photographers cost more than $50 for 20 minutes. So
I mean, especially going around Disney, like that's, and you're gonna get these like really cool shots too. So
and I'm assuming if you're not happy with the photos that they'll work with you and things like that. So you know, it sounds like it's just going to be a great addition.
And of course, I mean, not everybody comes from the Silver Spoon Country Club background as you do, Tyler. So we want to ask Kurt here, would you and your wife want to do something like this? More budget friendly, obviously. You know, you're holed up here in the bowels of the studio all the time, making pennies, and we look at that every day and think, throw this kid a bone.
You know, so if it's a special occasion, like first time to Disney World, first like proposing type of thing, I would say sure. But otherwise, like we get the PhotoPass too with our package that we usually get for like $100 for the whole entire time we're there, and so I just don't see spending $50 for 20 minutes.
sure.
It just seems like that's a lot of money.
There's the other side of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's a lot of money. I could do so much more for $50 at Disney World than spend 20 minutes.
And for
taking
perspective,
pictures.
this is something that many years ago was being tried out at Disneyland for a limited time, and it was the Inspired Photographers is what it was called. And it was a series of PhotoPass photographers that were wearing different vests and different shirts at the time. And for a limited run with the annual pass holder demographic, which obviously is very large here in California, it was sort of marketed to the annual pass holders as like, you know, meet up with Inspired photographers, and they're going to do private photo sessions with you and sort of take you around the parks and make some extra magic. And they did that for free. So it was a test. It worked out really well. And I know that obviously with the creation of MaxPass here locally, that has changed the whole PhotoPass dynamic and virtually changed the way PhotoPass operates on the West Coast. Whereas, you know, the East Coast and Walt Disney World, everything's a little different out there. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Garrett, anything else we should know?
Yeah, there is more, but before I get to that, I think that when all four of us come together, and Kurt, when all five of us come together, we do it for a photo shoot ourselves. Or I think this would be a great thing if you're doing like maybe like prom photos, graduation photos, or better yet, maybe
That's a great
Christmas
point.
photos. Imagine getting it at like 8 o'clock at night when the castle's lit up. That'd be a great Christmas card right there, I think.
Absolutely. We could all hold each other.
Yeah,
All hold each other in front of the castle.
Absolutely. But I think I want Tyler to be held by Katrina, though. I want Tyler held by Katrina.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah. But aside from this magicalness, there was actually some unmagicalness, I suppose, over at the Carousel of Progress. So, as we know, Carousel of Progress is a favorite topic of ours on the show, and Fred there, I think he decided he wanted to be like Anakin Skywalker and get his hand cut off because during the show, during the 1900s like period of the show, his hand fell off apparently, and no one really knows why. Disney hasn't given much of an explanation other than that it's been fixed. So it's truly tragic because Rover didn't do anything. Rover just sat there and didn't help his master at all with his now
Come
cut
on,
off hand.
Rover.
Yeah, but so as we know, this show has been going on for a long time. It is the most played show around the world, simply because it's done on loop. And as we've discussed, the show needs a little TLC, maybe just some cleaning up, but apparently now it needs a little bit more tuning up, because if you have audio animatronics hand falling off, that's kind of a big deal, because, well, it's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to replicate humans, and my hand doesn't just fall off right away. So it's tragic. So I hope that well, they're not expected to be doing a refurb on this attraction/show until after the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. I hope it would come sooner, because the 50th anniversary is easily going to go on for 2 years here. So I'd hope that they would work on that, but that happened, unfortunately. So yeah, Fred can no longer give high 10s, he now just gives high 5.
Yeah, and last time I was there, I know that the state of the theater that I had gone into looked really torn up. And the seats themselves looked really poor, and the carpeting looked disgustingly filthy. And so now to see just sort of a hand fall off of an animatronic.
He was lending a hand.
I suppose so. That's a little
It
unfortunate.
needs to be clean, so he was just lending a hand.
I guess so. Yeah, a little tough to see an animatronic sort of fall apart on stage that way. But
I think that'd be like the most. That's probably why I would want to watch it. It's just hoping to see something fall off. I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, right. Maybe something else will come rolling
Carousel of
off.
Progress. I'm sorry.
We covered this in the Do It or Ditch It a few months back as to whether or not this attraction was worth doing or ditching, and certainly it's one of those attractions that we
One of those things.
ended up saying, of course, do, but maybe update.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Again, it needs refreshing a little bit. The seats, the carpet, all that stuff needs to be done. But again, it needs to stay, because it's like one of those original rides.
Absolutely.
Well, attraction's not a ride, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, show. It's weird to think that this might not get a touch up until after the 50th anniversary out there.
Which is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
You think that they would try to zhuzh it up a little bit.
Anything.
Because they're already trying to zhuzh up Disneyland for their, big anniversary that's coming up. So they're doing a lot of stuff to Snow White and stuff. So you're kind of like, okay, well, why aren't you doing it?
Yeah. Hands falling off and carpet looking terrible, and how
Yikes.
unfortunate. My goodness. Well, Garrett, anything else to report from Walt Disney World before we go?
Yeah, so going back to the Do It or Ditch It, I think in this case Disney is ditching the attraction. No, I'm completely joking. This is a
Probably
staple.
not.
This is one of the things that Walt Disney personally touched himself. So I have no doubt that they will give it the love it needs. Just probably not in the most timely sense. But the last thing I want to talk about is that Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway will be opening March 4th here at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Huzzah!
They have already released fast passes for it on the My Disney Experience app. I did not get one, but I will be here opening day, because that's what good journalism is.
That's
It's
how it
good
works.
Journalism, Disneyism. I'll be here giving my first take on it and my Kingdom report card of it, but I am so looking forward to Mickey Mouse's first and only attraction anywhere in Walt Disney World. It's amazing that it's taken 50 years for this park to be around for there to be an attraction, but hey, better late than never.
Yep, it's finally arriving. And guys, as I had mentioned not too long ago, I was looking more forward to this attraction than I was all of Star Wars Land.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us were. And I'm surprised, because I thought they would maybe do a boarding group, kind of like they did with Rise of the Resistance, to kind of split up the people a little bit, but they just handed out the fast passes. I didn't get one either. I was kind of bummed. I was trying really hard.
Tragic.
But anyway, whatever. Life will go on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, pumped to see Mickey and Minnie finally getting their due, and hopefully this attraction will be something truly over the top, truly worthy of the stars, Mickey and Minnie. Garrett, we'll see you in just a bit. I know you'll be coming back for a few more of our segments, but enjoy your time at Hollywood Studios.
Will do. Bye, guys.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, time to hula hoop a little bit more. And speaking of hula hooping our way into the next round of news stories, it's Trending Countdown time. Let's go. Trending Countdown time, where we cover some of the top trending stories of the week. And this week, we are heading on over to Disneyland, where we are looking at some big news. It looks like Soarin' over California. Well, it's returning. If you're a fan of that classic original version of Soarin', it's coming back February the 28th for a limited run during the Food and Wine Festival at Disney California Adventure Park. Certainly Soarin' Over the World, one of those attractions that I think on paper sounded amazing and everybody was super amped up about and very, very thrilled to bring into existence. And then the delivery doesn't seem to have attracted all those, people that they had anticipated. You guys looking forward to California coming back?
Yeah, can we get an applause that it's actually coming back? It needs to stay. Thank you.
There we
Thank you,
are.
thank you.
Yes, keep it around.
I don't like Soarin' Over the World. In theory, it sounded great, but then when you actually see it, it looks very fake. It doesn't really seem real. Then you get California. You're in Disney California Adventure, so I think they should have a ride that goes over California, so for people can actually see what California is like, because it's not all the same. We have a huge state, and the state has like all these different features. So again, I always get emotional when you go through the desert, and then all of a sudden you see a jet pass by, and you're just like, wait, what? And then and then it goes over in San Diego, and it's just things like so beautiful, like how they honor the military, or not the military, but the Navy, and how they honor everything. And then you go and you smell the oranges, and then you see the LA traffic, and you're like, awesome. And then and I just think it's really great. And I think they needed to update maybe the ending, because it was the Christmas scene. So
from 20 years ago,
way back when. That's all they needed to update was the ending, and I would have been so stoked. But then they did it to the world, and I'm like, that should have stayed in Epcot. You keep it. We don't want it.
Tyler, are you a Soarin' Over the World guy or a California guy?
Definitely a California guy. I think that World is just kind of bad. I don't enjoy riding it. It's even the things for those that don't know, the Taj Mahal, things like that, completely CG, not even a real environment. And when you're telling me the whole point of this attraction is to admire kind of the beauty and the wonder of kind of these, not only just natural formations of land, but also downtown LA, for example, it should have all been real. And if they couldn't fly over the Taj Mahal, they shouldn't have put the Taj Mahal in the dang movie. It's the same. There's a couple other segments in that too, but it just takes away so much when you have whales splashing water in your face and stuff, and you're just it's just, what are you doing? I think they lost sight of what made that ride so impressive to begin with, and they just went too far in the way of production. They were just well, we need to produce something amazing then, because everybody loves this ride so much. And I think if they went simpler, it would have been better. And not to mention, the leaning tower of the Eiffel Tower. How
Flex Tower.
Yeah, if you're sitting off to the left or the right, the Eiffel Tower looks like it's leaning.
Yeah.
And somebody should have figured that out, and they should have not had that be the finale to their dang ride. I mean, it's just so many missteps. The smells aren't as good. Anyway, so I'm just dumping on that, but really, I really just wish that Soarin' Over California was just here to stay forever.
They should have just updated maybe a couple of the shots in California and keep it.
And the reason they do this is because they know that World is a failure, and they know that it's not as good as the original, and they know that people want the original back, but they can't admit it.
Yeah.
If they were to say, "Oh yeah, okay, just so you guys know, Soarin' Over California back for good,"
right,
that would be admitting defeat, and they're not going to do that. So
because they also brought it back last summer for a limited run as well.
And then they did an AP thing where after park close, you had an hour or something to go write it for only AP holders. And so, okay, well then you kind of Tyler's right. You failed.
Yeah.
Kind of on it, They're desperate because they know the AP love it, and I enjoy it. I would go ride it if it was Soarin' Over California.
Yeah, and the interesting thing to me too is that I feel if they continued to play Soarin' Over California, it would increase the value of not only California Adventure, but also of Epcot, because now you have two different attractions. Why would you want the same attraction in both places? It just doesn't make sense to me personally. I would think that you would want there to be differences between your parks so that you would have guests want to go.
Something
But-
more exclusive for
Yeah.
each location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it would be great too, because if they did reshoot a couple of things and make it like a little bit newer and not cheesy and actually make it real, like, you know, the LA traffic scene kind of needs to be updated. It's a little wonky. But if they just updated like a couple little shots, I'm sure everybody would be super stoked and would like pile in to go see the new stuff, you
Yeah.
know? And then they would want to see Soarin' Over the World, go to Epcot, you know, and then keep California the way it is. Because I don't know, I just love that ride so much. And the smells are amazing. And California is just a really cool state. I don't know. I just love California.
Yeah, it's a shame that a ride that had so much potential, a retheme that had so much potential for a ride, kind of fell flat. And you're absolutely right, Taylor. When it comes to like the CGI, like the Taj Mahal and stuff, it's like, what was the point of that? You know, like if you wanted to show it, great. I understand you probably can't get flight permits to go over the Taj Mahal or something,
Sure.
but then why put it in there as a computer-generated image?
There's so many other monuments they could have flown by.
Absolutely.
What I would say is that there was no ride at California Adventure like more immersive than Soarin' Over California. And when you put in CG animals and CG people and CG environments, the entire thing is CG. It takes you out of the immersion. I see the people walk. They don't. That's not how people walk. People don't walk like that. And that's all I can look at. All I can look at is this person's feet not moving like naturally. I'm getting like really angry about it.
I know. I'm like, whoa.
Fire you up.
But it's just whoever was in charge of it really just again took all the wrong things away from what made Soarin' Over California so great.
Yeah.
And it's a shame.
Here,
Yes,
here.
it is. Well, good news to have it back at least for a limited run. Moving on here, FastPass is making its way into the Disneyland Resort for 2 additional attractions. It looks like Disneyland Resort has announced that they will be adding FastPass service to Autopia at Disneyland, and then Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue at California Adventure. Both attractions are also going to be available on Disney Max Pass. I think, obviously, at least to me, it seems obvious that this is being done as a way to kind of spread the wealth when it comes to, you know, Fast Pass reservations and the Max Pass system. Would you ever spend a Fast Pass on Monsters, Inc. or Autopia?
I would.
Yeah.
Maybe like Mike and Sully, because like the last time we wanted to go ride it last weekend, it was like a 25-minute wait, and we're like,
Yeah.
okay, you know. So yeah, I probably would have gotten a Fast Pass for it.
Yeah, that's my thing is like we have Max Pass on our annual passes. So for me, if you're doing Max Pass, I think it's great because now we can just look at the app and hey, if it's boarding right now, then let's go ride it right now.
Sure.
I think that sounds fun. And like we never do Autopia, and even like you said, we were about to do Mike and Sully, and then we backed out when we saw that it was a 25-minute line. So if I can see if I look at my phone and it says
Sure.
get on the ride right now, then maybe we'll go on Autopia more often. I do think for the regular guest, it kind of sucks because now it's going to be if you don't have Max Pass or if you don't get a Fast Pass for it, then you're going to be kind of waiting in a longer line. You know what I mean? But they used to have Fast Pass for Autopia.
Yeah.
So it's really not.
It's coming back,
It's just
right.
coming back for that attraction. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing, but I think they need to just make sure that they limit how many passes they give out so that the lines don't get incredibly crazy. But yeah, maybe we'll do Autopia more often or something because I don't want to wait in line for Autopia. But if I could just walk right on it,
Sure,
maybe.
why not?
Yeah, in a way, it's spreading out the Fast Pass masses to try and push people into other corners. And then at the same time, as you had mentioned, when it comes to traditional lines, that's going to skyrocket because Fast Pass has been added. So interesting to see that change has now been made. And moving right along here, it looks like when the first quarter earnings call happened earlier this week for the Walt Disney Company, Bob Iger mentioned that attendance is up 2% at domestic parks. Guest spending is up 10% based on higher average ticket prices and plus increased spending on food and merchandise. Bob Iger said that Disney is thrilled by the overwhelming response to Star Wars Rise of the Resistance and called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, quote, a great success. Thoughts?
He's a really good liar.
Can we get crickets, please? That one too.
There you go.
There we go. I think what he's saying is like a huge fabricated lie. I don't know. It's just like very whoa,
goodness.
what is happening over here? I don't. Yeah, of course you're gonna make revenue because you just open up a land and you charge like how much for lightsabers and droids and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So of course you're gonna make money, but is it gonna be the same next year?
Right.
My favorite thing that people on Twitter have been doing in this kind of day and age is like posting a picture of a very crowded Galaxy's Edge and then saying like, I thought you all said this was a disaster, it was a failure or something, and it's like, okay, so you took one picture of a crowded land and you're gonna tell me that means that they didn't fail? Like, not really. I hate to tell everybody this, but their projections for this place were incredibly massive. I mean, they created whole entire new systems around their fast pass just to make sure that, you know, people could get into the land in a fair manner. They didn't even end up using it ever. Like, they didn't even, not even once did they have they ever had to use this whole entire system that they put in place to make sure that people could get into Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And you know what? Is it a failure? No, it's not a failure. It's making them money. But is it what they projected? Not at all. And so anybody who is going to get on their little high horse about, I thought you guys said it was a failure. Listen, they're making money, but
Right.
it's not the money they hoped for.
Yeah.
It really
Like
isn't.
how many droids, how many lightsabers can you possibly make? Like, I get it. If I was a huge Star Wars fan and they created like a new lightsaber that you can go buy for $100 or something, okay, yeah. If I would probably go buy it and then create like a cool like rainbow thing in my room and like all my lightsabers stacked up. But that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then the droids, how many droids can we possibly have? You know, like we have a couple, and it's just like we've like played with it for a couple times, and then we're like, okay, well,
Back on the mantle.
I know.
get over there, and then that was it. And like, so again, and then, you know, I don't know. I just, of course, it's gonna look nice on the first quarter revenue, but then in the end, it's just kind of like, if you look at it now, if I like talk to the people that went the first, you know, time and bought like tons of lightsabers, would they buy another lightsaber? Probably not.
Right.
They would maybe like go buy a Ronto wrap, maybe, and go grab like breakfast or something as they go ride as the Resistance. But I don't know.
Which, by the way, I had my first Ronto wrap this past week.
Was it
Oh, yeah?
good?
Oh my God.
Breakfast
really
or
good?
regular?
Regular. I didn't know what I was missing until
Yeah.
I had it. Oh my goodness.
Egg.
I keep hearing that, and I haven't tried one either. And I
So
feel like
good.
I need to. I'm not normally a big sausage guy, but
I tried both.
Yeah,
The veggie option
the veggie one too.
and then the
okay.
sausage one. Both spectacular. So
try
I get
the
why
veggie
people are
one.
buying them.
I need to try. I need
Yeah.
to try it.
I need to
'cause
try.
I do. I you know, they have these like at Animal Kingdom. They in the Harambe Marketplace. They have these like they're basically corn dogs, but they have like like an African sausage in the middle of it instead. And I thought I would hate it, and I tried it, and I was like, this is amazing. So
What makes sausage African? What's in it?
well,
What
I
is
think it
this?
was it was the
Spices?
spices.
Oh God.
Yeah.
is it a different type of animal found only in Africa?
No.
Okay, all right.
No, it's like a traditional African spices and.
Oh, I feel
and-
better. Okay.
Yeah. what do you think they made?
I
it
don't
out of?
know. I was
Like
thinking
caribou or
of
something?
I'm thinking like, what's unique to Africa? What creature would they possibly turn into sausage there?
Oh my
So,
goodness.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know.
But anyway, I didn't think I would like that, and I tried it and I did. So I think I think I need to give this a try.
Totally worth it.
It is like a Portuguese sausage, right? That's what I thought I've heard. Did I make that?
As
up?
I understand it, yes. And then the price point on it, a little much. It's like $12.99 or something like
Sure.
that. So
Oh.
it's a bit much for what you're getting. But as a standalone, I suppose we can call it a meal snack. I mean, I got 2 of them and filled me up. But I think it's worth at least a try. I think I'd go back to it every once in a while. But certainly, I don't think I'd make it a very common stop just because of
It's
the
like
price.
Bengal barbecue or something. If you're like, it's in your thought or your mind, you'd be like, I might as well just go do it. And then
Yeah.
I'm sure on like this recent quarter, they'll probably be like, oh, we spiked in revenue again because they started selling sporks. So, I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
they're going to fabricate that too, make it sound like they're doing huge revenues because of Rise of the Resistance. And this is a great ride. So I don't know. They just need to like change it up a little bit to make people want to come back. So that's all I ask. And like, bringing out more droids. Like we saw R2-D2, which was really neat, and Galaxy's Edge, and it kind of made it feel a lot more alive, but then there was just like massive crowds,
Yeah,
so it was really hard to
everybody's
maneuver.
following and-
yeah, and so like if they brought new things, I think that this land can be profitable and actually
What they said it was
be
going
a
to be.
success, you
Yeah.
know, and like create new shows or something to have people come out and do new things. So I just hope that it works. I don't know.
I would guess, this is 100% guess, that they have all these things written out. They have shows written out. They have everything ready to go.
Yeah.
And they just aren't doing it because, first of all, like we were saying earlier, they thought they were going to have much more crowds than they actually are getting. And then second of all, I think they decided like, hey, if we need a parachute, you know, we can keep this, you know, in our back pocket. And so when we need to start getting people back into Galaxy's Edge, just introduce a new type of entertainment, you know, and then more people will start coming back.
A new color droid.
They will do. I
I'm in.
guarantee you that'll
Sold.
happen. That'll-
I mean,
you know, I know that's going to happen someday. But it you know, they have to do something. I don't know. The place just feels so empty to me. I don't know how to
You
say
say,
it.
you know, first quarter earnings are up here. Well, what does the second quarter bring? What does the third quarter bring? I mean, you know, after the initial buzz of Rise of the Resistance wears off, things are right back to where they were. And so you can't fake that for too long.
Yeah.
And my concern here is also that they're sort of building this idea around like, oh, you know, spending is up. Well, that's because you keep raising the prices on everything, you know, and so obviously spending is up. And in addition to that, it looks like in Walt Disney World, they had even highlighted in the report that occupancy rates at the hotels are at like a record high right now. Why do you think that is? Like, because all those people aren't in the parks.
Yeah.
So what's going on? I mean, just
like
conventions?
conventions or
yeah?
something. Like I know Grand Destino is a convention hotel now, so I'm sure they just do like a lot more conventions. And then I mean, maybe people would like, you know, want to just go visit Disney World for a couple days, or you know, I don't know. Sometimes their prices are not that bad, especially because they're trying to push like annual pass holder rates and stuff for people to stay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like more and more people are also going to Disney World, not like thinking like the only thing to do there is the theme parks, right? Like
It's a big place.
It's a lot of eating
I think
to do.
I think more and more people are going there and treating it like, you know, some type of inclusive resort, you know, without the inclusivity, of course, but but you know, but that's the way people like to live their life when they go there now. I feel like it's becoming more and more like that, where you're going not just for Small World, but you're going also just for all the restaurants and all the entertainment too. So
I mean, Disney Springs is like a full day thing to go shopping, to go eat, and then you just want to keep coming back because there's so many things to eat there, or just to go look at.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then they just opened up CityWorks. So now there's like a new thing that everybody wants to go check out. So and then they try to like open up new bars and like it's just like a cool. I think it's like more for like the millennial crowd, you know,
Sure.
to kind of go wander around and you know enjoy your hotel and actually what you paid for instead of like you know spending all day in the parks. You kind of like split it up a little bit.
yeah, if you really look at what they've been doing in World, they've really been focusing more on people our age than kids even, I
Yeah,
think.
they
Like,
know.
Yeah. And
yeah.
like it's getting to the point where most of the things that they announce and build and everything are really geared towards adults.
Yeah.
Like
Childless millennials.
yeah, exactly.
Childless millennials. That's right.
Take that, Karen.
Yeah. No, and I definitely, going back to the whole idea of sort of occupancy at an all-time high, I think that a lot of that has to do also with like the deep discounts every year now. I mean, there's just one discount after another when it comes to room stays at the resort. And then on top of that, cast member rates are like half off, sometimes 60% off to drive more and more cast members from across the country into those empty
That's
rooms.
a heck of a rate.
Yeah, spectacular.
I mean, 50% off.
Yeah, right? Totally
I would-
worth it.
Oh yeah, like I would go plan like a week or something to go over there and just chillax at a really cool hotel and just enjoy it, you know. But yeah, like there's got to be like other reasons. Like I mean, I'm sure, and a lot of people would rather go to Disney World than Disneyland because it's more bang for your buck
Sure.
for international travel.
A lot more. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of probably the reason why too. And then you know, Star Wars is another kind of issue, like not issue, but like reason that people want to go see it because they don't know what it's like, and then they go there and they're like, ugh, Smuggler's Run.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just don't.
please. Well, that's the news for this week. Stick around. Do It or Ditch It is up next, and we're talking Tomorrowland at Disneyland and an attraction there. You don't want to miss it.
Do you know everything the ghost host is going to say before he says it? Are you ready to thank the Venetians each time you board Spaceship Earth? Can you recite Walt's opening day dedication speech? Then join the Kingdom team today, the influential Legacy fan community featuring exclusive merchandise that will alert all who've come to this happy place that you are more than just another guest. You are a trusted theme park fan. Don't miss out. Join the Kingdom team right now by visiting the homepage at kingdomreportlive.com. That's kingdomreportlive.com. And now, back to the magic.
Do It or Ditch It time, where we take a look at an experience or an attraction that perhaps is worth doing, or saying nope, giving up and moving on because it just isn't worth it anymore. Today we are focusing on Tomorrowland at Disneyland, and more specifically the Finding Nemo submarine voyage over there in Tomorrowland, right alongside that spectacular Matterhorn Mountain. Perhaps you've heard of it. And today we're focusing in on that because it is a hot topic I found in just asking around, and certainly something that as I passed by earlier this week, I got to thinking that maybe its days are numbered. And I don't know why I feel that way, but there just isn't a line for it anymore.
I think like there is a line if it's super duper busy and people are desperate to ride something. I think that's, yeah.
I mean, I've always heard that ride is super expensive for them to maintain, obviously, because it's all 100% underwater. So I could understand that it's. I feel like for years we've been hearing kind of rumors of like, oh man, they would love to get rid of this because it's just so expensive. But
gobbles up the labor, and because it's so labor intensive with all the cast members that are needed just to run it, and you kind of get very little bang for your buck in terms of capacity because those subs are only so big, and try and shove everybody in side by side.
It's not like the one over in Epcot where it's just like continuous like Omnimover where you can get like tons of people in, you know. But I mean, going underwater is really cool.
I mean, it has its novelty.
I mean, I personally think it is one of the cooler rides at Disneyland. Like in general, like I don't think very many people have ever seen anything like this. I mean, I think they have something similar to it, like at Legoland now.
Yeah.
Not on the same level, obviously, but you know, it's just a ride where you really do feel. When I was a kid, I kind of didn't get it. I was like, wow, we're really going under the water. You know, like when I was a kid, I really thought we were diving under the water.
Sure.
And so it's kind of an incredible experience in that regard. But then you kind of alluded to it as well of like, but then you're like kind of packed in like a little sardine, and you kind of have to. You're bumping shoulders with the person next to you, and maybe there's some smells in there that might not be so good. And so it can have moments of being like, oh gosh, I just need to get out of this submarine. So
yeah, it's humid and claustrophobic. And,
a little bit. And then it's like I feel like it's always my luck where I get people that either are talking the whole time, or I get the stinky people with like some Crocs that they should not be wearing ever again.
Yeah.
And then I'm like tired. I'm like, oh, I really want this to be over. When's it over? And then, you know, and then you just kind of like, you can't wait to hear that music of, oh my gosh, now I just forgot it.
Somewhere.
Yeah, beyond the sea somewhere. So it's just like, you're like waiting for that so you can like get out, you know? But when I was a kid, again, your space is different than as an adult. So for me, I loved it when I was a kid. Yeah. I thought I was diving underwater and I was like, this is so neat. This is so cool. And then as an adult now, I'm like a bigger person, and now I'm kind of like, oh, I think it should be like for like kids, you know, or like, I don't know.
And these are the original submarines too. So these were built when Americans were smaller. Let's be real. So I mean,
before everybody was a churro loving guest.
Exactly. Before they made 10,000 flavors of churros.
And then the churro challenge.
But going back to the main question, it's so tough for me to decide if you should actually spend your time on this one because. Again, it's a theme park ride unlike any other. When I first saw it, I didn't understand how they even do some of the projections under the water and stuff like that. So it really is neat on a lot of levels. If you have that fear of claustrophobia or anything like that, maybe not for you. Yeah. I think if there's no line, I think you definitely owe it to yourself to get there. I don't know if I would wait in line for like 45 minutes or something.
Where's your cutoff? 15?
I think my cutoff. I think if somebody has never done it before and they're curious, I think a good cutoff would be like a 20-minute wait.
Yeah.
20 minutes is good. It's
Yeah.
like is a decent wait time, especially like, I mean, if it's like hot outside, I think 20 minutes like max, not minimum, max.
Yeah, right, max.
Because it's just like too hot and everybody goes in there and then it's just kind of like.
I'll tell you the
stinky.
thing I never understood about this ride though is why is the voice of Dory not Ellen DeGeneres?
Oh,
That
costs too
bothers
much.
me every time I ride that ride.
is that so?
It's
It's not her.
It is not Ellen
Keeps
DeGeneres.
them up at night.
Wow.
And it's interesting to me
sorry,
too
yeah.
because they made that ride before Finding Dory, and every time you see Ellen talk about Nemo or Dory, or she's like, it's like the IP she wants everything to do with. I feel
Right.
like. So I guess she was too expensive, or she didn't want to do it. Or
Very interesting. I didn't
feel-
realize that. Yeah, 2007 is when this attraction was sort of rebooted and brought back after so many years of just being an inactive, standing body of water in Tomorrowland. They brought this attraction back with the Nemo theme. We took a poll over on our Facebook page at the Kingdom Report and asked you, is Finding Nemo a submarine voyage worth your Disneyland time? 80% said that they seldom ride or skip it entirely. 20% said I ride every visit. That, I think, at this point is one of the most polarized polls we've ever taken.
Yeah.
I have never seen something so far in basically the ditch it category. And why don't we jump out to Walt Disney World right now? And our Walt Disney World reporter Garrett Hassel is standing by. Garrett, have you been on the Nemo submarines, and is it a do it or ditch it for you?
I've been on Nemo before. I remember when it first came out, I was so excited because I loved the original submarine attraction, just because it had, like, to be able to go in a submarine, that's so cool, to be going underneath the ocean. I remember probably the most iconic scene in the original ride was when the sea monster attacked you, or when the squid attacked you and the ship starts, like, alarms going off. I remember that, but this new attraction, it's cute, but as I've gotten bigger, I enjoy it less and less because it's too tight for me. Like, if I get someone, like, if you get myself, Tyler, and Wade together, like, we're not having a good time. We're sitting on each other's laps at this point. And
I mean, don't you guys want to
I
cuddle?
just want to hug you. Yeah, I don't know what's. You
I
just
I mean,
don't
what's so
want my
bad about
hugs.
that?
Yeah, and but the portholes have gotten so small that, like, it's hard. Like me, I'm like up close and personal looking into everything. So for me, it's a ditch it. It's a cool concept. I would have rather had it be Atlantis: The Lost Empire when they had hinted at that, because Atlantis: The Lost Empire is one of my favorite Disney films, even though it didn't get high reviews. So I wish it could have been that. But I think what needs to happen to this area is you can still use the area, but you just need to convert it into what Tokyo Disney Sea has, where you're in a submarine, but you're not actually in the water. They have, I don't know if any of you have ever been there, but you hop into your submarine vehicle, and then there's a layer of, there's windows, but inside the windows there's water, so it makes it look like you're underwater without actually going underwater.
That's neat.
And it emits bubbles and stuff, so as you're going along under this lost underwater city, there are bubbles there, so it makes you feel like you're actually underwater without having to have the budget of having billions of yes, thank you, bubbles everywhere, without having to have actual water. So for me, it's a ditch it. It's cramped. The best part is, however, if you go on it during the day, when you board the ship, that's really cool because you're going into a submarine. And then before you actually enter the deep ocean, where you're just going along the bay and you see Darla out there and all the other beautiful, like, coral reef aspects, that's cool. But then the rest of the ride is sort of hit and miss for me. So I gotta ditch it.
Yeah, they certainly do their best to try and keep the air flowing while you're in there. They have multiple events to make an attempt to keep it cool at least and keep that air cycling. And then at each porthole, there's also an air blast, really trying to keep it as non-claustrophobic as possible. I went on it this past week just because, again, I thought,
Why not?
I have this feeling that it's going away. I don't know why I keep feeling this, but I know it's prime real estate for development within Tomorrowland, and it could be a few years, but I feel like that attraction, those days are numbered.
That would be so devastating if
I
they
think
got rid
it's
of
gonna
that
happen.
water area, because it's just so beautiful. Even like walking by,
Yeah.
it's just so gorgeous. And then when you're like going through like the monorail, Don't say that.
It is pretty spectacular as a site, but
Yeah.
I mean, from a capacity
Chapek.
standpoint, and what did you say?
Chapek.
Wow. Can't keep blaming him for everything. My goodness.
I'm like looking to Kurt to see if there's any fun sound effects.
I had some reverb on her, so she.
Can we get a poop sound here? It's like Chapek.
Goodness.
I mean, I have the horse neigh.
No.
That's the best I can get you for right
Good
Run,
now.
enough.
horsey, run.
I mean, he is one of their behinds.
Goodness gracious. The hate in your heart towards that man is just off
is
the
full.
chain. Wow.
It's very full.
Well, we asked you, obviously, what do you think about this? What are some of your thoughts when it comes to Finding Nemo's submarine voyage? Let's take a look at some of the comments you left here. Sarah says, I'll ride it if everybody just used the bathroom or got a new diaper. It isn't closer to
no.
meal or nap time, and the line is shorter than 30 minutes. So quite a few variables there before she'll ride it. Robin says, once is enough. Too much body odor, and I don't want somebody's sweaty leg touching me. Todd says, it's a no, just like Small World. And Jenna says, I like to go on every ride at least once, but I don't love the new submarines. I loved the old ride. And I continue to hear that over and over again from folks. In some other comments that we have here, Lisa says, makes me claustrophobic. Maria says, it's boring unless I have one of my sons with me making hilarious commentaries. Michelle, claustrophobic, she says. And Josie Lynn says, can't handle being inside this ride as my anxiety attacks are severely triggered by the tight space inside the submarine. So a lot of claustrophobic comments there. Producer Kurt, when it comes to you and your wife and you guys in Tomorrowland, you do this?
No, it's a ditch it for us.
Yeah.
It's so much of a time commitment. I feel like I feel like I'm on that submarine forever. Like to the board and get out of there.
Yeah.
It just feels like, just let me off the damn thing already.
It is a very long ride. You're
Yeah,
right.
it's just so much. I mean, to me, they would have to update it. Like if I had scuba divers, actual scuba divers in there or something,
That'd be
that would
really cool as they
yeah,
wave.
Yeah, wave by
They
me.
call you by name. They're
Yeah.
like, hey. You know
What
what'd
about
be really
mermaids?
cool, though,
Yeah,
is
exactly.
if
They used to have
made
mermaids.
an omnimover, like, and then they put like a little tunnel, like, you know, because obviously there's water in there, so you can't just like go in.
Yeah.
But if they made it a tunnel and they made it an omnimover, so they still keep that beautiful body of water, and then you just go in underwater, and then you look at it, and then you just get shot out at the other end and just leave.
Is this
'Cause,
like
you
the one
know,
at Epcot?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
but
the-
then you still keep that body of water, and then you just kind of like you go in like a tube, and then so you are in the water. You look around, you're like, oh wow, cool. I think that they should keep it that way, and then get rid of the submarines, so you have like a nice like little seashell as you go through, kind of like a Little Mermaid kind of thing. But it's like a lot better because then you're with the person you actually want to be with, not with some weird person that has sweaty legs. And you're like, get away from me.
Yeah. Don't touch my leg.
Just a thought. I know it's gonna be expensive, but hey, it might work.
I will say, like, if you want to experience this part of, like, any part of this attraction and you are worried about your claustrophobia, they do have, because there's no way for wheelchairs to get in these things, so
Right.
they do have off to the side this little room that has air conditioning, and it's kind of set up with this kind of diving theme, and they'll play a video of the entire ride for you if
So you
you
can
if
get
you
an
want to
idea.
go and see it. So
And there's light effects too to kind of help with it to get that ambiance.
yeah, I mean the TV has seen better days. It needs to be a little brighter possibly, but but
hey.
it's still if you're in a wheelchair and you really want to see this, or if you are claustrophobic and you really want to see this, those are two ways to experience it. And I don't believe you really have to wait in line to see that either.
No, I
So
think you just like go off.
I think
to
you
the
just
side.
go talk to a cast member and they'll bring you over there. So.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
Very helpful for anybody that can't make the flight upstairs, the spiral staircase to get down into the submarine itself. It is rather physical, the expectations of
Oh, yeah.
getting into this thing. I think that it might also play into why this attraction might not be around so much longer, because not everyone can do it the same way, and I think it might be a little bit difficult
That's
for
why they
those
should do the
folks.
seashells.
Yeah.
Little omnimover.
It's a great idea.
Hey, why not?
Very expensive, but it's a great idea. Yeah. I think overall that the submarines are a part of sort of Disneyland nostalgia to the nth degree. It's something that everybody looks back fondly on. I know I remember hearing the stories of like John Lasseter and the Imagineers that were working on bringing this
Can't say
back.
his name.
I know, yeah. He who shall not be referred to.
Ooh.
Those folks in Imagineering that sort of fired up the old subs and brought them out for the first time in a number of years just to test and see if everything was still on track. When they did that many years back, right before they relaunched it as Nemo, it had crowds of people around the whole
Sure.
lagoon just cheering. People were so excited to see this come back. And I almost feel like this is one of those attractions that we remember it fondly, and a lot of folks remember it more fondly than they actually like doing it.
Yeah, they just like, oh, that's a great idea, but I'm not gonna go on it.
Yeah.
I like to look at it
Right.
from afar, you know, like the little yellow submarines like driving around and stuff, but it's just so tight.
Yeah.
Like, and they can't get rid of the seats because then less people get in.
You know,
so
and
obviously,
you're not a large person either. You know,
No.
you're a pretty petite person. So
you.
for you to say, that, I mean, that
I just
speaks
feel
volumes.
it's very tight. Even going down the stairs, I'm just kind of like, oh geez. And then you don't want to wear a dress
Mm-hmm.
because you have to get up and get out, and you're kind of like, as you like exit, and then
No, there's something I never thought about.
yeah, it's just not one of those friendly rides. And then so I just like to see it from afar. I wish I can't ride it.
The cast member looks really like
They're
uncomfortable too
funny
while
too,
they're,
and you're
they're
like
doing
like,
that.
They can't really
looking around,
move.
They're like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like looks like they're
Their heads in a
squatted
bubble.
down. Yeah.
as they're
Yeah,
driving.
you only see them from the waist down when you're in the attraction, and that's a little odd. I remember going in there the first time and hearing people around me thinking that it wasn't a real person. That
Oh, really?
it was a
That's
prop
funny.
person.
I want to see somebody poke them.
I
Oh
think
my
it
gosh.
happens more often than you might believe.
They're like, sir,
Wow.
please stop.
Yeah. Yeah, please don't grab me.
Like in Ghostbusters when Egon pokes. Anyway.
No, careful there. Well, at any rate, so I want to hammer it down here. So it's do it's for you, ditch it's for you. What is
Oh
it?
man.
Ditch. Unless it's like the like handicap room, then I would probably say do it.
But the ride itself.
But the ride itself, it's a ditch it.
Okay.
I'm gonna say ditch it because I think it's more about the time suck for me than anything, because I think there's just more to do at Disneyland with your time than spending 30 minutes waiting in line and then another 20 minutes on the ride for that.
Certainly.
So yeah, I think I would say ditch it.
And
I know it's really hard to say it because you should ride it at least once just
I
so
still,
you
I
get
think
it.
it's a, I think
but-
it's, I do think it's a phenomenal ride. I really do actually think that it's really well done. It's very smart. And what they did, even after the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea stuff left, they built that, they increased the size of that show building. They built it out by like 20% or something like that. So it's a very long ride. But
And theming, story, you're absolutely right. I think it hits all the right marks. It might just be the device itself, that makes it so uncomfortable and not worth it to the majority of us. Well, it sounds like all of us at this point, because I am also a ditch it, especially after riding it again this past week. I did that on purpose just because I was like, I don't remember the last time I got on this thing. It's been years. And the demand has certainly not been there, unless, of course, as Katrina had mentioned, it's a busy time in the parks and people are just looking for something to go ride. I jumped on board and I thought, maybe it's not as bad as I remember it. Yeah, no, it's horribly uncomfortable. I was sitting next to a woman of size who also seemed very uncomfortable, and I was in the corner. I was in the very last spot, right next to the staircase. So at least I had a little bit of room to sort of lean into
Scooch,
that,
yeah.
and not be in somebody else's business, I guess. But at any rate, it just felt like even the projections and stuff like that I'm watching out the porthole were kind of faded.
getting
Oh,
older.
ooh.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've been on, and it's entirely possible. Those, that's the hardest part about. I think a lot of theme parks think like, oh well, we'll just make it a projection ride. We'll make it a whatever. Maybe mostly I'm pointing at Universal Studios, but but they don't realize that like that sort of stuff takes upkeep too, and
Right.
and a lot of times they'll let these screens kind of deteriorate, and it's unfortunate. But I love the ride, but I'm gonna have to ditch it.
Well, it sounds like ditch it's all around, and an overwhelming amount of you also said ditch it. So the ditch it's habit for Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage at Disneyland in Tomorrowland. Coming up, our favorite restaurant at Disney's Hollywood Studios. What could it be? Are you hungry? We'll check it out next.
Hey Kingdom Team, do you need more magic in your life? We understand, which is why we connect you to more of what makes you happy 3 times a week. Catch our theme park coverage, vlogs, and reviews every Tuesday and Thursday. And experience the Kingdom Report live, streaming every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. That's new content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, crafted with you in mind. Don't miss out. Be sure to subscribe and activate notifications at The Kingdom Report on YouTube. And catch every update throughout the week at Kingdom Report Live on social media. See you there!
The One Thing is here, and this week's One Thing takes us to Walt Disney World and Disney's Hollywood Studios, where we are looking at our favorite #1 restaurant out east. What is it about Hollywood Studios that we like best when it comes to dining? Well, with me today, obviously, Katrina Manzone, Tyler Crouch, producer Kurt, and of course, out in Walt Disney World, our dear friend Garrett Hassel. And guys, when it comes to dining Hollywood Studios style, it's a park that has gone through a lot of transformation as of late and continues to go through transformation, and that includes some of the dining options. And we've seen some new things be brought online in the last couple of years. What's your #1, Katrina?
This was really hard. I even had to tell Tyler, I was like, what do I like at Hollywood Studios?
Tell me what I like.
And honestly, I guess it's going to be the Brown Derby. I do really like going to the Brown. Like the first time I went, I had a bad situation, but ever since then,
Raw chicken.
Oh, God.
I didn't want to say it.
I'll say it.
And you still go back. All
yeah,
right.
and so it was bad. But it was again, I love going to just have not like a heavy lunch, but their Cobb salad is actually really delicious. But I don't really eat a Cobb salad because I don't like eggs and
You don't like blue cheese?
and I don't like blue cheese.
It's not really a Cobb
So
salad.
it's just like a chopped salad.
It's like a chef salad, sort of.
So I just asked for like extra, if I can just have like extra bacon or turkey or something, and
They
they're
give you
really
the
chill about
side eye.
it. Yeah, and then they're kind of like, okay, but their dressing's delicious, and it's actually like I get like the big one for lunch, and then a glass of wine, and it's like the perfect lunch, and so it's fantastic, and like the atmosphere is really cool, and then they have like the little sidebar, which is really neat, so you can just like go up, grab a drink, and then head on your way, or you can sit there and order like appetizers and stuff, so you can like see like the kind of like what's going on outside the park and stuff. So you're like kind of like in this like nice fancy dining atmosphere, but yet you can see the park from afar, or you can go inside and then you can, they have like really decent food. I remember I got like a short rib once that was like phenomenal, and they always have really good food. So
No
except for the fried
reservations accepted on that patio, I believe, right? It's just walk up.
Yeah.
yeah,
Correct.
the patio is just a walk up, and then all the other ones you need a reservation. But if you haven't done it, I would say try it. If you like Cobb salad or salad like me,
Just a
you
chef
totally
salad,
try it. And yeah, I don't know.
And now
It's
that they're
really good.
getting rid of the Star Wars shows that are out there in
Oh,
the
yeah.
middle, I think that's a
Sometimes
huge
it does
plus.
get a little obnoxious
Yeah.
when you're like trying to sit out there and have like a little drink, and then that show comes, or like the march goes through, and you're like,
So yeah,
Lord,
so
here
you'll
we
be
go.
sitting in Brown Derby, and for about 15 minutes straight, you just hear dun 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 dun. When Phasma
Keeping
is
it
walking,
themed.
and you're just like, wow, I just really don't want to hear this anymore. But, so it's nice that they're getting rid of those shows.
yeah, they have really good food, and so it's like one of those like. I know if you do it like during a holiday, they have like a 3-course like menu and stuff. So it's definitely like you can do like a cool date night if you want to go, or like a really cool holiday dinner and stuff to go through it. But
I think that's the exciting thing about Brown Derby in general is like not even just the holidays, but they're kind of always constantly changing their menu. Like
That's true.
You're always going to see
except for
new
the
things
Cobb
when
salad.
you go.
That
That's
thing never
that's a
changes.
staple, of course. Yeah.
Never changes.
I think there would be a riot if there was
I think
no
you
more
would
Cobb
riot. You'd be
salad.
like, that's it, and throw the table.
I would throw all the tables.
That is what the Brown Derby is known for.
I
is,
know.
Yeah,
It's always
signature.
it's definitely one of those things to have a nice light lunch, or that's for me. I don't like eating like a lot of heavy stuff, especially going to a park. So nice big salad and like a glass of wine, I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
And now you can't even go to the real Brown Derby anymore. So it's nice that they are kind of continuing this Hollywood tradition
Yeah.
in Orlando.
Absolutely.
cool.
And Tyler, do you align with Katrina on this one, or what's your favorite?
I will say, well, no, I do have a different one, but I will say that even though I have a different restaurant, I still think that Brown Derby probably has the best food, like
Okay.
just food.
It's a great tip.
And if you're looking for the best food, then Brown Derby, I guess. But do you want me to just say mine now?
Oh, please.
I am gonna go with the Sci-Fi Dine-In.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Check you
and
out.
the Sci-Fi Dine-In is just one of those things that I think it's very nostalgic for me. I grew up in Woodland Hills. We used to have
California.
Yeah, and we used to have a drive-through or drive-in. I'm sorry, a
drive-in,
drive-in.
sure, yeah.
We have plenty of drive-throughs still. But there used to be a drive-in there, and I would go, we'd go and watch, movies. Me and my dad, we would put the seats down and put the sleeping bags in the back and just have a great night. And And then I was so excited to learn when this must have been over 20 years ago, that they had this cool restaurant there that, would bring me back to kind of having those experiences with my dad. And so me and my dad went, and man, it just gives you every vibe that you need from being in an actual drive-in.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the food is the best there. I feel like, get a cheeseburger and it'll be a decent cheeseburger.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I really liked their salmon. I got like a salmon sandwich.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, we don't have any gluten-free buns. So they gave me it was like a pizza crust. So it was like literally a half a pizza. And they just put tons of salmon and folded it in half. And I was like,
but it looked really good.
God, it was so good with bacon and stuff in it.
Way to compensate.
It was amazing. But I mean, yeah, I thought it was good. Food,
it's so cool. So for those who haven't been, you're literally looking at, and it's sci-fi themed, obviously, and you're looking at like old movie, like old commercials, movies, cartoons, all these different things from the 50s and 60s, I think. And you're sitting in cars, you're literally sitting in like a car with your family, and they have the little speakers next to you, and it's just, there's so many, it just hits me on every nostalgic level.
Very homey.
Yeah. And it just feels cool too. You're going to walk into that building and come around the corner, and I swear, as soon as you see the entire drive-in, and you see off in the distance, they have like hills with like towers on them and just all these great
it's very captivating.
Yeah, and you walk in, and I will challenge you to not be amazed, because it is just a really cool sight to see.
Prepare to be amazed.
Exactly. Man, so much nostalgia for me. It's if it ever goes away, I'll be sad forever. That's Sci-Fi Dine-In is my pick for.
Sounds like it holds a very sentimental place for you too.
Yeah,
so that's extra special. And obviously, any of those places you can hold on to, sort of add up that additional magic, I think, when you determine what you want to eat, and it brings back all those special memories. And I agree, what a place, what a spectacular place. Yeah. We're about to jump on out to Walt Disney World now for our Walt Disney World reporter, Mr. Garrett Hassel. Hey, man, you're in Hollywood Studios right now. What do you like to eat?
I am. So are we referring to strictly restaurants, like sit down, or are we talking to quick service food and beverage? Because I have a different one for
your top choice when it comes to a restaurant there. It could be either or.
Okay, so then I have to go with the ABC Commissary.
Really?
Okay.
Well,
explain the whys.
In the past.
No,
ABC Commissary has gone downhill recently, but recently I've been enjoying Backlot Express a lot, because while it's sort of hidden away a little bit, like if you look at it, you don't think anything of it. You see it and it just is like, oh, it's just like metal sheet roofing, whatever. There's nothing there. But
I agree with you.
Like when I come to the parks, like I live locally, so I try not to eat in the parks as much as possible. So if I do eat here, it's usually chicken nuggets. So if I want chicken nuggets, I just go there. If I had to be a sit down, I'd probably do 50's Primetime Diner or a cafe, just because it's nostalgic, it's cute. But if like me living here, I'm usually in the park for a half day, not a full day. So I go get my chicken nuggets, then I go off and do my thing. When I went on Rise of the Resistance, I needed lunch. I didn't pack me anything, so while waiting for my boarding group, I went and got some chicken nuggets, and that was my food for the day. So Backlot Express, just because it's cool how they have nostalgic pictures of like it's supposed to be a prop house. So you go in there and you see pictures and all that, and plus it's nice to have like the soda fountains there, so that way if I don't have to ask for a refill, I can just be like, get it myself, and it's good to go. And plus,
how does that go? Can you show us one more time? How does that work? Oh, awesome.
But yeah, Backlot Express, it's simple, easy, to the point, and it gets the job done. Gets me my chicken nuggets, and I'm happy.
And there's nothing like Disney chicken nuggets, that's for sure. There is something very special about.
I was even telling Ty, I was like, I mean, I do like ordering my gluten-free chicken nuggets over there as like a quick snack, because it's either that or tater tots over at the Woody, what is it called? Oh my God.
Woody's Lunchbox.
Woody's Lunchbox. And so I'm like, oh, which one? If they only could get the chicken nuggets and the tater tots together, win.
Whoa.
So that's when I went to Brown Derby.
I believe they are potato barrels.
That's right.
Yeah, we don't call them tater tots at Woody's Lunchbox.
Oh, Lord. Sorry.
Well,
can I get a womp.
Producer Kurt. Nothing more depressing than not having those two together. Producer Kurt, your favorite restaurant at Hollywood Studios?
I would have to say it's the 50s Primetime Cafe. I like the
Not
atmosphere.
Pizza Rizzo.
No, I want it to be Pizza Rizzo. I love the Muppets. I don't think you realize how much I love the Muppets. I want it to
seem
be.
to love them.
Yeah, I really do.
Okay.
Yes. But no, it's 50s Primetime Cafe. I'm gonna make sure he's muted. All right. And sorry, I'm doing two things at once now.
You're a busy man.
I know, right? But yeah, I like the atmosphere. I like the hosts, the waiters, and everyone. If you get a really good one, it's just such an awesome time. I asked at one point, oh, how does the fried chicken taste? And he grabbed someone who had eaten the one already and said, oh, hey, you want to try it right here? Here you go. So it was just, I just like the atmosphere and the whole thing of 50s Primetime Cafe. Plus, they have little TVs in there too, playing old Leave It to Beaver and stuff like that in there.
Old
So-
50s sitcoms, and I have to agree with you. That was mine. 50s Primetime Diner. I mean, very unique to Hollywood Studios, evoking all of those sort of 1950s feelings and that whole idea of you're sitting in mom's kitchen because she's in the kitchen, and so you're sitting in the dining room, but she's in the kitchen, and so you're served by members of your family, and they come up and introduce themselves as like, I'm cousin so and so, or I'm aunt so and so, and they're your server, and they're very sassy. They have a great attitude to them. I think more than anything, I mean, the food's fine. The food's nothing spectacular. It's filling. It's traditional favorites. It's sort of your comfort food, which is kind of what the style is supposed to be for mom's kitchen.
It's like the 50s food. Like
50s
the
loaf and fried
fad.
chicken.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what's healthy for you.
Yeah, they're right.
It's very,
And then
very
go
good
out
for
and
you.
have a smoke.
Yeah.
Because that was the 50s. But I'll tell you that whole experience I love the most, not only because your servers are so playful, these are cast members that really play a role, that really get into a role, but then on top of it, I think the other pastime, as I'm in there enjoying myself, is mom here? Did she just ring the doorbell? I think the other thing that I really enjoy is looking at the other tables, seeing other people that didn't know what they were getting themselves into.
Oh, yeah.
And had no idea why their
Sit back and
server is
relax
acting
and
a
watch
certain
your
way.
show.
Yeah.
You see it with the fathers that just don't understand why they can't get a straight answer on things and why their servers are acting this way.
Yep.
I think that's my favorite part.
Yeah, I definitely remember going as a kid and getting the macaroni and cheese and being I was an extremely picky kid, and so I just wanted Kraft macaroni and cheese. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Give me the Kraft macaroni and cheese. It was not Kraft macaroni and cheese, and I did not want to eat it. And then I wanted a cupcake, and boy, my server was not happy. She was like, but you didn't even eat your dinner. You think you deserve dessert? Like, really? And I remember being like, oh my gosh, like
Just read me the riot act.
she can't say this to me. Like, she's not my mom, But that's they act exactly like your mom. It's
Yeah,
funny.
they'll put adults in the corner. They'll put you in timeout. They'll have you do physical things around the restaurant and clean up. Sometimes I've noticed if you don't finish your vegetables,
Really?
you're punished. It's
Oh
great.
my gosh, hilarious.
It's so much fun. Yeah, so getting into sort of the theme there, I think, is better than anything, and certainly unmatched when it comes to other theme dining where cast members really get into roles elsewhere. Have you guys been to over at Magic Kingdom something that was supposed to be similar in nature when it first came out? Skipper Canteen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they act up as much there as
When
Skippers?
they first started, I want to say they did some really cheesy jokes and
Yeah.
they really lived up to it. And I feel like the last time we went, it was kind of like you got a little 50-50. Sometimes they told a couple jokes.
I think it depends on your server.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like much like the prime time. We've definitely had some really funny people, and we've definitely had some people that have not tried at all. So
Yeah.
that one doesn't bother me as much. I don't know why. I guess because I just feel like you're supposed to be having this experience at prime
Yeah.
time. But I think most of the time I feel like the funniest people at Skipper Canteen are usually like the hosts and hostesses because they're like leading you in, and they're the ones that are like, they have to talk to you. So what else are they going to do besides say a couple jokes?
Certainly.
Like,
true.
they definitely point out the highlights, which are up on the ceiling, and then they point out some lowlights, which are down. You
Right.
get the joke.
Waka Waka.
Yeah.
That's
So
the way that goes.
yeah, but I think it's really cool. Thank you. I think it's really cool if you are any type of Adventureland or Jungle Cruise fan because it really gives you backstory on the Jungle Cruise. I think
Yeah,
that's neat.
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, great all around to hear everybody's different top-notch choices for Disney's Hollywood Studios. We had one quick service thrown in there by Garrett, so definitely some options for you if you spend some time out at Walt Disney World, especially in that park.
Get
as
those
they
chicken
continue.
nuggets.
Get them chicken nuggies. You'll love them. And that would be the one thing for this week. And that certainly brings us to the close of our show. Unfortunately, it feels like this hour just flies by every time. And before we get going, we always like to check in with Tyler and Katrina to see what's going on at attractiontoaction.net and what we should know for the week.
Well, we're still kind of in a phase here where we're changing things up. So
So we're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on some things. Just I think for the future, we're going to be probably doing a little bit less in-park vlogging and stuff like that. More kind of discussions, more like, the Kingdom Report, sort of more laid back. I think that's what we're striving for at this moment. So we have a lot of things to set up, and when we're ready to go, we'll let everybody know. It's exciting, but we're kind of changing things up.
Yeah. Well, a rebirth,
Yes.
if you will. Very
rebirth.
nice.
Where's the little baby? Okay.
Kurt?
Kurt? Oh, look at him. He's like,
When you need a baby noise, Katrina will be there for you.
We'll record that after this.
Well, thank you both. Look forward to seeing whatever comes our way when attractionfaction.net is rebranded and reborn into a new discussionary type place. But as for the Kingdom Report, we want to thank you for contributing this week, all your comments on our Facebook page. If you haven't done so already, head on over to our Instagram as well at Kingdom Report Live. We continue to grow there. And if you're somebody that appreciates what you've seen and you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead, hit that thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up party. Oh my gosh, you know what? There are thumbs everywhere, and you just want to celebrate. Thumbs up party, and make sure to share the video if it's something that you feel other Disney fans might enjoy. Only do that if you think that they might appreciate it, though. If we haven't earned your share, don't share it. In fact, just turn us off. Get rid of us. You don't want to see. You don't want to watch. Don't waste your time unless you truly appreciate it. All right. But we appreciate you for any time that you give us. We look forward to joining you once again next week, Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, for another Kingdom Report Live. And remember, the legacy of Walt Disney, it only lives on because of people like you and me. See you next week.